in Schufert.
Yeah. You ready?
Always.
Well, now, ordinarily, as far as a poker lounge is concerned, I'd be saying welcome to Joe Hachem. But Joe Hachem's got to say welcome to me because it's the Champions Lounge. It's his lounge. Welcome, Joe.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. And you allowed your brother to come in as well, eh?
They let anybody in here.
He's going to tell us, he was on a table with a South African yesterday, Warren Zaki, who's our chip leader. They had a running battle for hours and hours and hours. I think the South African actually got the better of the last level, but the rest of the time you had him under the weather, didn't you?
Absolutely, he was blessed. He got dealt pocket aces on 3 occasions, but I managed to get off the hand, so yeah, we South Africans always blessed.
Well, we have a couple of things in common, us South Africans and Australians. We never like the Pommies, the English.
True.
And we hope that the All Blacks don't win the Tri-Nations. So we got that in common.
Absolutely, that's definitely very common.
Well, how's your tournament so far? I think you got a chip stack of 140, so looking good. You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm like in the zone, like just trying to get through and have a good time. Last couple of years I've put too much pressure on myself and worked too hard and not come and had fun at the table. And from day one this year I just decided, you know what, I'm going to have fun and just enjoy it and play the best that I can play, and whatever happens, happens.
You know, it's a bit of a blessing and a curse, I suppose, having that title, because a couple of things happen. First of all, you put pressure on yourself, your expectations go up, but also you become a target for everybody, so it's difficult to relax. So perhaps it takes 2-3 years to move a step up. I know your game would have improved, but perhaps it takes 2-3 years to fully adjust. Would that be a fair comment?
No, it's not. It's not correct. I adjusted my game straight away. What happens is you get caught up. Like, I have so many commitments. I've got a few sponsors, family, and poker. Now, this is my 5th year, so it's 4 years on. It's my 5th year that I've played this series, and it all melts. It gets the better of you, and you're not as fresh. You're not as You're not springing to your feet like you were 4 years ago because you're working your ass off every time you go somewhere. It's like, you're travelling, once a month, and we live in Australia, which is at the end of the world. So what's important, and what you need to do is learn to rest enough, learn to understand not to expect too much from yourself. And I was having a conversation with Shane Warner, who I'm sure you.
Yeah, we all know.
He's damaged your country quite a few times.
Too often for us to recall.
And it's funny, we were having a drink the other night, and he said to me, expectation can destroy people. And if you put too much expectation on yourself, and you worry about other people's expectation. I've been doing this for 20 years, playing cricket for 20 years, I've had highs, I've had lows. And it's only when, I've accepted who I am, being comfortable with myself, that I was able to get through those tough times. I think the same is in poker, when you're in the limelight like I am all the time. And obviously, I'm a very competitive person, so I don't walk into any tournament thinking, poker stars, putting up the money, who cares? That's not how it works. For me, every time that I play in a tournament, I'm there to win. But then I suppose what I've found over the last 6 months is getting to a point where understanding what I want to achieve, understanding how well prepared I am to achieve that. And sometimes I'm just not well prepared.
So it's a question of balance, I suppose, for anything.
Balance.
Is balance. Yeah. I just want to ask Tony, is he the best poker player in the family? And if not, when are you going to prove it otherwise?
Only time will tell. But to answer your question, yeah, by far, Joe's got the runs on the board. Since the World Series, I think he's validated himself more ways than one. Not just on the green belt, the felt, but the way he conducts himself as an ambassador for poker in general.
But having said that, I've seen you in playing. You're a very accomplished poker player yourself. Is it difficult living under the shadow of having a brother who's won the brace?
It's funny you ask that question. Look, people ask me that question all the time, but to be under Joe's shadow is awesome. If I'm going to be under anybody's shadow, it's not about shadow me. Yeah, but I've never looked at it that way, Joe. I've always idolised Joe as a kid. Joe's been, my brother, my mate. He's been everything. So, more importantly, it's how you place
We're
yourself.
we've been very lucky. The way we were brought up is that Tony's my brother, my son, my buddy, and
Well, it's that Lebanese
the Lebanese
family,
culture,
isn't it? Yeah.
the Lebanese culture, our
Yeah.
background has been very important to us. Our mum loved us all equally, and our uncles and family just were all great. And I'm very lucky to have someone like Tony as a brother who, sometimes it can be hard in this spot, and there can be some jealousy and stuff like that. Whereas he's always kind of rooting for me to do well. It doesn't matter about how he's going. And to answer your question about his poker ability, the kid is going to break through eventually. There's only one part of his game that he needs to change, and he knows about it. But he's always in there deep. He fights to the bone, just like it must be in our family. We just don't give up.
Well, one thing I want to compliment you guys is that what you have done is you've never forgotten your roots. And I see you take tournaments out to. I think you've actually got a tournament out in Lebanon.
We're
And you've got
going
one in
Lebanon,
Australia, which
yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah, and Australia.
And I think as South Africans, we all admire that. So you're never far from your roots. And you must be pretty proud of that.
You've got to remember where you come from to know where you're going.
That's important.
And our Lebanese heritage is very important to us. Australia is our home country. We consider Australia home, and we're Australians. And very proud and privileged to be living in a great country like Australia. But it's always, very important to remember what the heritage is.
Tones, I want to quickly ask you, he's talking about the weakness. What is that? Because, we've got a lot of players who are trying to improve their game. Where do you think you need to improve your game?
Well, in poker, there's a lot to learn in poker. I think every day you learn something different. Weakness, not knowing enough. I think not knowing enough. But through experience, I'm pretty sure.
Tell them about your weakness, what happens to you at late stages of tournament. When you get that surge of blood and you decide to get it all in there with tens against someone who's got aces.
Yeah,
That sounds like a Lebanese trait. It does.
He's done that. He's done that quite a few times now. And I've gotten very upset with him. He's ran deep, like last year in the 5K short-handed, and a couple of other tournaments where he's gone really deep. And then he gets a surge of blood and decides that I'm not going to let you bully me around. I'm going to bully you around with a pair of tens. It's like taking a knife to a gunfight. What are you doing?
It's like me taking on Mike Tyson, who was here for the ATL for Africa. I ain't going to do that.
And that's, but you are getting better with that. It's just a matter of time, and it took me a long time to work around my weaknesses. And in time, he'll get there.
You're going to help now. This is the first time for some time that we're going to get Australians who are going to help South Africans. So if we've got some guys out there who want to learn a bit more, they're just starting. How would you, Joe, if you were just starting playing, what would you advise? Read books, play online, play in tournaments? What's the balance?
I think if you've just started playing, you need to read some books. Some fundamental books to teach you about the basics of the game. Nothing too complicated. Just ABC, just so that you understand how the dynamics of the game actually works. And there's a ton of books out there. And the best way then to put that into practice where it's not going to hurt you, log on to something like PokerStars.net. Play for free. Cost you no money. And play against all these other people from around the world who are playing for free. As you improve and you can start playing some free roll tournaments, you decide, hey, I want to try and play for real now. You can, create a real money account and practice online. And the step after that is to walk into a casino. Or maybe even before the casino is to find a home game with some friends.
With some friends. Is that how you start? I mean, question here. I mean, do you play amongst yourselves? I mean, do you play against Big Brother?
We do. I mean, it's funny enough, my first experience at Texas Hold'em was in Joe's garage. And we played another form of poker called Manila. And when we're pretty fortunate enough that Joe showed us how to play, we actually said, no, we're not playing this game.
I didn't like
We didn't
Hold'em.
like
Didn't
it. I didn't like it. Well, none of the boys did. And that's only because we were afraid at the time to learn how to play this game, something new. But once we got the hang of it, there was no looking back.
Boys, thank you very much for chatting to us. You're both in the World Series. You're marching on to day 3. We don't care if it's a Hachem, whoever goes deep, as long as there's one carrying that Australian flag.
Thank you.
And watch out for Warren, Zaki, and a couple of our South African boys, because you'll probably run into a few. You know, we've got 13 going into day 3, so we've done okay.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to them as well.
Thanks very much.